Thank you for joining me as we continue the topic from crowd to committed. Our primary passage for the majority of this week will be Matthew 16, 21 through 27. In this passage, Jesus is showing us what it means to be a follower of him. Instead of reading all of these verses in 1 or even 2 days, I thought, no, we need to slow down and unpack what Jesus is sharing with his disciples that we all need to hear right now. When I came into marriage, I was shocked at how my wife and I can look at one situation but have two completely different observations of what was going on. Well, in our passage today, we will see that exact same thing at play. Jesus has a perspective and Peter has a perspective on the same situation, but they are going in two completely opposite directions. Matthew 16, 21 through 23 is for our reading today. It says, "From that time on, Jesus began to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed and on the third day raised to life. Peter took him aside to rebuke him. 'Never, Lord,' he said, 'this will never happen to you.' Jesus turned and said to Peter, 'Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns.'" Jesus has just shared with his disciples that he is the Messiah. Right on the heels of this amazing announcement, he says, "Yep, and I'm getting ready to die." Peter says there's no way that's not going to happen. But Jesus says, "Hey, no, you're a stumbling block to me. Get behind me, Satan." What do we see? One situation, the truth that Jesus is getting ready to die. Jesus knows what's coming, but Peter is the one saying, "No, you just told us that you're the Messiah. It can't happen like this." What we see in Jesus' response is that he says, you don't have God's perspective on what's going on. You just have your own earthly perspective, which leads us to our first question for the week. Are there any mentalities that are keeping you from following Jesus? Peter thought Jesus was supposed to be a conquering king. Jesus knew he was a suffering servant. We also have mentalities that do not align with God's plan for our lives. If we cannot surrender those mentalities, we won't be able to embrace the full plan that he has. Ask God to search your heart and your mind to see if there's any mentalities or even perspectives that are keeping you from his best. Can't wait to see you tomorrow as we continue our topic from crowd to committed.